I Am Elemental is running their annual Childhood Cancer Awareness campaign. All through the month of September, with the purchase of one Courage action figure, one will also be donated to a child fighting cancer. Courage is a 6.5-inch action figure with 30 plus points of articulation. Molded in durable plastic, she comes with a removable helmet, chest armor, flaming energy sword, and her Courage shield. Order yours today at imelemental.com and give one to a child fighting cancer at the same time. Link in the description below. Order yours today and change a child's life. Hey everybody, Mac here. Welcome back to the show. It is day 6, I think. Day 6? Yes, day 6 of our Target Fall Geek Out. And today is Funko Day. But if you've been watching the show, you know I really have no interest in Funko. I don't collect Pops, and I really don't collect any action figures from any of the limited lines that they made action figures for. So instead of talking about Funko or anything Funko related, I thought we could talk about what happened last weekend, last Friday, with the Hasbro Day. Now, if you recall, when this whole thing started, it was originally the G.I. Joe Day, but then I think a week later, it switched from G.I. Joe to Hasbro in general, which at the time, I didn't think anything of. I thought, okay, cool, they're going to pull a NECA, where they'll have a little bit of everything, and G.I. Joe will just be one of many things. So I was still fairly excited to see what they were going to release for the G.I. Joe line last Friday. And lo and behold, they had nothing new for G.I. Joe. As a matter of fact, the only things they had for G.I. Joe for their Friday reveal was the G.I. Joe Classified Barbecue and the G.I. Joe Classified Roadblock from the first wave that was the Cobra Island exclusive with the t-shirt and the toque and the beard. And that figure should be on clearance shelves at this point. I don't understand why they made a big deal and released and revealed that one as part of this Fall Geek Out. Barbecue I can kind of understand. Maybe people missed him the first time around. But then there was also the issue of the prices. The Barbecue was going for $22.99, which, okay, a little bit of a price increase. I think he was originally $19.99, $20 when he first came out. So they bumped the price by $3. Okay, not great, but not awful. But then the Roadblock figure, the one that I just said should be on clearance at this point, is coming in at $25, $24.99 for a figure that is, I believe, 3-4 years old at this point, outdated, and really, if no one has picked him up by now, odds are they're not going to get him. Not only that, but when I was at RetroCon this past weekend, anytime I saw him at somebody's booth, he was like $10, maybe $15. So even the third party aftermarket realizes that he's not something that that figure is not one that people are clamoring for, so they reduced the price. I can't see anybody paying $25 for it at this point. And that was all they had for G.I. Joe, and that was a little bit of a gut punch, because there have been figures on pre-order with Target at this point that have been on pre-order for so long that I've seen some people saying that their Target red card date has expired, and they've had to try and switch it over to a new red card, sometimes losing their pre-orders because of that. So with everything new that they have been talking about on their live streams that they've been showing off, I was hoping anyway, that at least we would get the Slaughter's Marauders paint job of Barbecue at this point, if not something else that they have been showing off. Instead, we just get two figures that are kind of old at this point. Like Barbecue, like I said, I could see that maybe somebody missed him the first time around and they wanted a second shot at him. But he's also been for sale on Big Bad Toy Store. But that Roadblock figure, that blows my mind that they revealed they put that up for the Fall Geek Out, and they put it up at the $25 price point. So that was a gut punch, like I said. But what kind of eased the pain of that was I saw that we finally got the Dungeons and Dragons classic cartoon set of figures. The first wave came out. Wasn't on anybody's radar. I don't think anybody saw that coming. It was like one of the best kept secrets I think that Hasbro has done in a long time. And I was really excited to see that. I saw that the first wave was Hank, Diana, and Bobby. I thought, okay, that's a really cool first wave right there. And then there was the Venger and Dungeon Master 2-pack, which is a Target exclusive, and I thought, okay, so that's how it's going to tie into the Fall Geek Out. And then I took a look at the figures, and I wanted to sob a little bit. These figures aren't even in our hands, and first off, I normally don't talk smack on things. I try and keep this channel positive. I really do. But these figures, man, they look dated and they're not even in our hands yet. Single joints in the elbows for all of them, not just Diana. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot as far as waist articulation goes. Don't know what there's going to be for the head articulation. And the hands, all of the wrist joints look like they pivot in and out instead of up and down, which is a bit of a tragedy considering these are all melee wielding figures. And not only that, like the limited articulation, I feel like with Hank, you're not going to be able to get a really good draw pose when he has the energy bow up. With Diana, I feel like you're not going to be able to get those really nimble acrobatic poses for her, and she is an acrobat after all. And then with Bobby, I don't know, I just feel like you're not going to be able to get like a really good over the head two-handed pose for like when he brings the club down and smacks the ground. I don't know, I feel like that the poses that they have them in for the photos are pretty much what you're going to get. There's not going to be anything real dynamic. There's not going to be anything real fantastic about what we're going to be able to do with these guys. And that is especially true with Venger. And truthfully, looking at Venger, we already know that it's going to be an articulation issue. That with that skirt, it's going to traffic cone his legs. With those billowing sleeves, he's going to have limited articulation of what he can do with his hands, with his arms. And that kind of doesn't bother me as long as the sculpt is decent. I could really do without that side eye. I would really like it if he was just looking forward. But he has a little bit of a bucktooth thing going on too, which I'm not real thrilled about. Hopefully the final figure will look better than that. But as far as articulation goes with Venger, I don't really mind it so much with him because truthfully, he's not going to be getting into any running poses. He's not going to be getting into any low crouching. He's not going to be doing any high kicks. I mean, he's Venger. He stood there, he menaced, and he shot energy out of his hands. And we do get two hands with energy blasts on them. But the other problem is that skirting. That skirting is going to cause a problem if we get a Nightmare. How's he going to mount up on the Nightmare? Are they going to have to special make the Nightmare specifically for Venger? Or will they have to do a Nightmare Venger 2-pack with a figure of Venger that really only looks good when he's on the Nightmare? Or if they don't make a Nightmare, if somebody has a black horse, which, come on, at this point I'm pretty sure most of us have black horses or know how to get our hands on a black horse, how are we going to put him on there? That's the disappointment. Yeah, the articulation just isn't, it doesn't look like it's going to be great. Like I said, these things look dated, and they're not even in our hands yet. They're not coming out until January of next year, I think. The Fwoosh said it when he was doing his weekly, and he was talking about these. And I tend to think he's right, that it looks like these figures may have been molded, planned a couple of years ago, but they were holding off for the 40th anniversary, so they just kind of sat in a data file somewhere until the time was right to pull them out, and then they never did anything to update them. That's disappointing if that's really what's going down here, if that's really what's going on here. And we'll have to wait and see what happens. They're $25 each. Venger and Dungeon Master is $50. And looking at the $25 price tag, even for somebody like Diana and Hank, I know $25 is Hasbro's new price point, but are these $25 figures? I don't know. But having said that, I will freely admit that I am part of the problem, because I have been waiting for these figures for years, much like many fans of the cartoon, much like many fans of the D&D game. We've been waiting for these figures for years. I've pre-ordered the whole wave already, including Dungeon Master and Venger. And I'll get them, and we'll see what happens when we get them in our hands. But right now, I bought them mainly because I have a feeling this is what we're going to get. I was really hoping they were going to let NECA go to town on these, and they would make a set of these figures that match up to the D&D figures that they're making, like Warduke, for example. But these definitely aren't going to... It's not even that they're not going to scale with NECA's figures. These aesthetically aren't even going to be a match for those figures. What I'm hoping is that once these release, and they release the second wave with Eric and Presto and Sheila, is that after those release, they'll let NECA have a go at it, and then we'll get another set for them. I'm really hoping that's what's going to happen, because right now I feel like these figures won't even match up to the Drizzt figure that came out like 2 years ago. That they don't have the same articulation, they don't have the same aesthetic. And that's kind of disappointing too, because how many of us bought Drizzt thinking that there was going to be a whole line of D&D figures coming out, and now we've had to wait for this and probably anything that's coming out with that movie next year. So we'll have to wait and see for that. These are very cartoonish looking, but they're based off of the cartoon, so I don't really mind that. I don't think that's terrible. It's kind of what I was expecting, but there's looking cartoonish and then there's looking cartoonish. I don't know. I maybe it's just that I had my hopes up too high all these years, but I feel like that at the $24.99 price point, at Hasbro trying to be like this quasi-boutique figure company, they could have done better. I'm still going to get them. And also keep in mind, these are early... I don't know if these are early renders, but I don't think these are pictures of the figure that we're looking at. I'm betting that what we're seeing on the webpage may just be the digital renders, maybe? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. That Diana that's the one that's going to hurt the most. She's supposed to be an acrobat. She's not going to have very much in articulation. She's not going to have very much imposability. And you're not going to be able to get like her hands together in the center of the staff like she did sometimes when she was spinning it over her head in the cartoon. I don't know. They could have done so much better. Hasbro has come so much further than this that it's really, really, really disappointing that after waiting all of this time, this is what they're rolling out. Also with the, not to bring it up, not to be completely down on that, but also with their rollout last weekend was also some Transformers that I'm not going to talk about because I really don't get into Transformers too much. So I don't know if what was released was good and if that's what collectors have been waiting for. But then there was also some Star Wars Black Series stuff that I don't get the price point for Black Series at this point. I don't collect Black Series, but $26.49 for these two figures that are Target exclusives. And they're just basically troop builders. I think these are all part of a new wave. I'm not sure. Like I said, don't pay attention to Black Series, but that's just some funky pricing right there. So Hasbro's had not a great week. And to top it off, they announced, what was it, yesterday or 2 days ago? No, I think it was yesterday as of the time of this recording. I think it was Monday. That their selfie series went from $60 up to $80. I'm not entirely sure I have a problem with this. Now, hear me out. Hear me out. $60, even when it was announced, really seemed awfully low to me. Because I know if you had this done by somebody else, the photo capture, the 3D rendering, the 3D printing, whatever, that it starts at like $100 and can go up to $200 depending on the quality. So $80 doesn't seem like that big of a jump to me. I know that's big from $60 to $80, but it still seems like it's the cheapest way to get your own head put on an action figure. The big thing is going to be, though, the quality, because the quality in the promo shots that we've seen doesn't look that good. It looks very soft. The paint apps look very dull. We'll just have to wait and see. Will I be part of the first wave that gets some of it done? Maybe. we'll have to wait and see. I don't know, because I am looking for a head to put on my Valaverse Steel Brigade figure. But then again, I don't think the Valaverse ball joint is the same as the G.I. Joe Classified, so that may be a moot point now that I've just said it out loud. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the letdown of having no G.I. Joes. Let me know what you think about the price increase of the Selfie series. And let me know what you think about the D&D line that's coming out. And do you think NECA is going to get a shot at this? Because I know at San Diego Comic-Con he was saying they really wanted to do this, and that they were just, if NECA got the chance to do it, they were just going to release the whole line at once. So let me know what you think. I normally don't ask for comments down below, but I am legitimately curious to see what people think, how people feel about all of this. So that's what I have for you today. I believe this is going to be the last video for September, and then we start Bricktober. So until then, my friends, play well, stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, thank you for watching.